All right, Nick. Uh, well, I mean, this is why there's the old adage, right? When you have 14, 15, 16 runs in a game, you're just like, hey, let's save some of these for tomorrow. And here's tomorrow. Well, I actually, that's the old adage. I actually believe I got a good feeling about this. I don't want to sit here and act as if I'm going to guarantee anything, but I did think to myself, when you're the Rangers and you've struggled and you've pitched this well, boy, do I feel like I've been on the other side of that before. And you roll into the bottom of the ninth, and the next thing you know, one guy gets on base and one swing of the bat, and then the whole night that was absolutely almost perfect is ruined in the blink of an eye.
Like opening day? Maybe not that
similar,
great
very
of a
similar, very
yeah.
similar. It would feel very, very, you know, if they find a way to win this one, it's almost like you stole back the game that you feel like you gave away on opening day, right? And that happens throughout the season. It's just how many times are you able to steal them versus give them away is part of the equation at the end of the season. But 8 innings, 3 hits, obviously no runs, and he's coming back out for what is a complete game.
Well, just saw some news that is not really topical. I just saw it and wanted to mention it. Ryan Conwell committing to Pat Kelsey in Louisville.
Oh.
I hate to, lose him at Xavier, but I like Pat Kelsey a lot, man.
Good coach.
I kind of have a little side rooting interest now in Louisville. Shout out Cardinals.
Jacob Hurtubise has got a chance here to rectify a wrong that he made on.
There you go, sir. There you go,
baby.
Go to.
No way. No.
He's got a cannon, but that would have been a weird angle.
Yeah, we're not taking.
He could steal that base on his own.
Well, he's just let's let the next guy hit one over the wall.
I got to tell you this. I'm not gonna share names, but I'm in a group chat, and they have been just dogging on Hurtubise being on this roster all day. And I'll tell you the one that
I'm not in this group.
Someone called him, again, not naming names, is Hurtubise the team dog. And our good friend Paco that you met in Dayton just jumped in the group chat and went, woof, woof. And it was a great group chat moment. So woof, woof, Jacob. Let's go.
I like that. This is one of those situations where I'm okay, and I know you don't love this, Nick. I'm somewhat okay if TJ Friedel wants to try to get a hit. If he wants to try to bunt for a hit. I'm not saying lay down a sacrifice bunt. But if he feels confident that he could lay down a bunt for a hit, it could kind of 2 birds, 1 stone type situation here.
It's a much different calculation than bunting as a traditional sacrifice bunt, with maybe the best bunter on the planet.
Planet's a strong word, but I would say he's one of the better bunters. He's best bunter on our team.
He was 2 years ago. I don't know. He lost a little bit of that sprint speed. I mean, personally, I would like to have Elly De La Cruz batting here, but since we don't, I'm okay with that.
I just need to find a way to make sure we get Elly to the plate. So, avoiding a ground ball here or a ground ball from the next guy would be fantastic. This is one of those pull bunts where if you're going to bunt for a hit, you got to drag it up the line. Hopefully it gets towards second base, gets past the pitcher type thing.
Oh,
no
God.
way, dude. This is the type of stuff that you just can't do, man. All right. I mean,
it's a good play by the catcher. You got to give him some credit.
It was
for
just
that.
a horrible bunt, though.
I mean, it was
right in front of him.
If it just chops a little bit higher, it might have actually been perfect because it might have taken that extra hop on him.
Yeah, just a bad bunt.
Yeah.
Easy play for the catcher, too, if we're being honest. Like, that thing was a Sunday hop. All right, listen. Matt McLain hit a ball in the gap, and all of this is forgotten. Okay? Just a terrible bunt, though.
when the last guy this guy threw a complete game was.
I don't know, but man, he's.
I knew he threw didn't he throw 8 innings in the World Series in relief? Was that him in the Red Sox Dodgers World Series?
You're asking a lot out of me right now. I barely keep up with those two.
Didn't watch baseball then.
Yeah.
That
Pretty
was
good
my slumber of baseball.
Come on.
Oh, man.
Damn, right at him.
Man, he's hit the ball well. Man.
When we get him up, he gets to come up, and the thing that stinks is you can't try to steal second base. That's worthless at this point because if you steal second base, they're just going to walk Elly. I'd rather, and I know it sounds stupid, I'd rather give Elly a chance to just hit one out of this park. Probably not likely, but I'd like to see at least give it a chance.
Was that the best swing of the night?
I don't, when we do these things in the ninth, I don't want to look up any of the numbers and stats.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm with you. I'm not either. I just want it off the top of my head. It feels like that was the best swing of the night.
Yeah, it probably was the hardest, maybe one of the harder hit balls, if not the hardest hit ball.
Friedel was the hardest, the very first at bat of the game, or was the furthest.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lux, I feel like, and again, it's kind of like when you're watching the game, I don't know, with kids and you're kind of doing things as you're watching it. It's hard to, but Lux hit a ball pretty well earlier too. I don't know. It was more of a ground ball though. I like how Elly has like a teal belt. He just does whatever. He does whatever he wants. Hit one out of here.
First walk-off?
Yeah, it'd be nice. Okay.
It was on deck, Lux.
Lux is on deck. So
they have to have a lefty warming, right?
I would have. I don't know, man.
I can't imagine. I mean, Lux has massive splits. I'm kind of surprised.
Oh, Elly, stay in the zone, buddy. Come on.
Kind of surprised they didn't bring in a lefty here to face Elly.
That's why I was saying. That's why when you asked if they had a lefty up, I was going to say I thought that they would have brought him in for him, but at the same time, that would be sickening for Eovaldi to watch some clown come in here for one at batter and give up a home run. All right, let's just put the ball in play. Swing at strikes, put the ball in play. Swing at strikes, put the ball in play. Get through there. Get there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's good base running. I like that.
Yep.
You can't, they're definitely not going to.
I was a little nervous when that ball didn't go very far.
Yeah. I don't think they're
quick.
I will say that if you're them, it's probably not a bad idea to throw off speed in the dirt and stuff to see if he'll chase. Yeah. I don't think you walk him on purpose, obviously.
Be cocky, Eovaldi.
Damn it. All right. We got a show to do.
Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant.
Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again.
Benzinger backing and calling, and the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Hatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And
De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McLain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steers' first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Line into right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air down the right field line, doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream begins in the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, Nick, a tough one, a real tough one, especially on the day after a absolute offensive outburst of 14 runs. You find a situation tonight where 0 is put on the board. Reds lose 1-0. This is not to be expected at times during the season, Nick, but certainly there's going to be games where you're frustrated. You feel like you've wasted starting pitching performances. And this ultimately, if you were to pinpoint exactly what the worry was coming into the season, this probably is it to a little bit of an extra degree. I don't think that it's going to be obviously getting shut out on a night in, night out basis, but I do think the story of this season, if it were to go south, is going to be wasted starting pitching performances. And tonight we certainly got that. And let's also be very clear. The Rangers were one pitch away, one swing of the bat away from feeling the exact same. But that's just the as we've said many times on the show, that's going to be the difference at the end of the season, whether you make the postseason or not. The margins are extremely tight for a team like this. And it's another game, unfortunately, at the beginning of the year that many people are going to look back on if things are close at the end of the season and say, would have been nice to find a way to win this game. I guess overarching thoughts here before we jump into the box score recap.
Yeah, I mean, certainly frustrating. Score 14 runs and then second time in 3 games, perfect games thrown against you into the middle of the game. So, yeah, frustrating. Just sometimes it's a little bit of baseball. It's hard. Is it an inconsistent team or it's just baseball? Yesterday no one was talking about the Rangers having terrible at bats when Brady Singer was mowing them down, one hitting them over 7 innings. We were talking about how great Brady Singer was. Right. Nathan Eovaldi, I think, was really good tonight. This is a pretty good pitcher, and he shoved. There wasn't a whole lot, really, though. It's not like one of those games where you can say, man, we hit the ball hard all night. We had a lot of great at-bats. Nah, there really wasn't a whole lot up until the 9th inning was really, the Hurtubise and McLain at-bats were probably the 2 best at-bats of the game.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Eovaldi was good solely because of the umpire giving him the benefit of the doubt on some calls, but I definitely think that it helped at times. He was fortunate in some counts to get a little extra off the corner, and maybe you could say the same on the other side. Again, to be very clear, I'm not discounting his performance based off the umpire behind the plate, but I just think that I really think that this is just baseball, and I know that that's not what people want to hear in a time like this, and I know that that's not my MO, right? I'm typically the one screaming and yelling about this or that. I'm not overly upset, largely because I felt like they didn't squander any opportunities off of just dumb and mental mistakes that they shouldn't be doing. I just think that it was one of those nights where they just physically weren't able to find ways to put the bat on the ball and hit it hard enough to deserve hits. The ninth inning is what it is. I'm sure we'll get into that. I don't want to burn through too much kind of inventory to talk about, because on nights like tonight, doesn't seem like there's much. But let's do the box score recap real quick. I'm sure it won't take long, and we'll jump into the night that was.
Yeah, the old box score recap. Well, the Reds didn't get a hit up until the sixth inning. Gavin Lux, for the second time in a couple days, broke up a perfect game. Carson Spiers, another strong effort from him. Could really continuing on a strong spring that he had. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Reds didn't have much going. Shout out to the bullpen for keeping the Reds in the game. Ian Jabot in particular, talk about him in a second. An inning and a third scoreless. Got Taylor Rogers out of a jam and then threw a scoreless inning of his own. Nathan Eovaldi took a shutout all the way into the 9th inning. Reds try to get a rally going. Jacob Hurtubise, nice at bat. Pinch hitting for Austin Wynns. Single, the hard hit single too, to lead off the inning. Then TJ Friedl tried to lay down a sack-ish, trying to get on base bunt. Wasn't very good. Bounced right to the catcher. Easy play to throw out Hurtubise. Friedl did get over to second on a wild pitch that just barely got away. Matt McLain, probably the best swing of the day, lined out, and then Elly De La Cruz, a weak ground out to end it. Reds fall 1-0. Reds now 2-3 on the young season.
Yeah, the deep drive of the day, well, it was a Matt McLain line drive to center field. 101.7 off the bat. It wasn't out, so that's kind of where we're at on a night like tonight. Shout out to Deep South Commodities and his team, John and his team, for supporting us in this show. I had mentioned that we were going to have an ad read, and I'm going to save it for a better time. That was a 9% chance of winning at the time. It ultimately was obviously 0. I don't know if I'm going to go to super chats here real quick. I'm trying to stay on track here tonight. I have a thought on the Reds offense that I'm going to share in just a second. But before we do that, Clement's family said if they had tied it, I'd have had to force to listen to Larkin longer. I'll take the loss over a tie just for my sanity. That's tough. I don't know. Maybe he was upset at the fact that he had to listen to Barry give praise because our infield caught a pop-up. I don't know. Ricky, member for 15 months. He's a leader of men. He said, our rotation excites me, especially with Abbott, Lauder, Burns, Petty. Coming soon enough. If only Austin Hendrick. If only Austin Hendrick could have progressed into something other than a trash can. So we could have.
Today's the year, Ricky. This year's the year.
Listen, it's April Fool's. I'm going to assume that last part was April Fool's joke. That's what I'm going to say. Austin Hendrick, he's on his way at some point. You got to wait for it. Here comes Rolf with a 50 bomb. A 50 bomb, dude. This guy is nothing but nails on nights like tonight. When you need it the most, here comes Rolf. I don't want to hear any of this bullshit kid show about our lineup being AAA. 4 starters are hurt. No one here knows the gap between AAA and the majors. Elly was in AAA less than 3 years ago. Baseball is a game of chance. Every player on this team is elite. I mean, that's taking it maybe one step too far, but you know what? I love the positivity. Here's my thought on the offense. On a night like tonight, I think it would have hurt, burned, whatever term you'd like to use, a lot more if it felt like the Reds deserved to score. And I really don't think that it felt like they deserved to score. There wasn't any moments in this game where it felt like, oh, this guy made a diving catch here and that guy made a diving play here, and look how many hard-hit balls we had. That wasn't the case. By the way, if you're going to say that this team wasn't clutch tonight, there was 3 chances to get a hit with a runner in scoring position, Nick. 3 chances. It's not like they stranded 14 guys and they were, 0 for 11 at the plate with runners in scoring position. That just wasn't the case. Sometimes you got to tip your cap. I know that we don't want to do that. I know we want to blame our guys. But the truth of the matter is that if the roles were reversed and we won 1-0, everyone would be talking about how fantastic of a start it was, and they'd be giving all the credit to the pitcher. So that's what I'm going to do. Kudos to Eovaldi. I don't want to make more out of this than there is, but I will ultimately say this outfield is going to have to give me something, Nick. It can't be 1 through 4, or for the most part, our infield. And maybe you could throw in Candelario if he's going to be in there from time to time from DH, or maybe if you want to add in Steer, I guess, if he's a DH. Like, it can't always be relying on those guys to get the job done. The truth of the matter is that we're getting little to no production right now from those guys out there. And Jake Fraley, the time's ticking, man. It's ticking, and it's ticking fast. I don't know what you do here. It's 1 week into the season. People are going to say we're overreacting. Maybe it is overreacting, but the issue is that we don't have time to sit around and wait when there's other guys that are available that are performing. And yeah, they're performing at AAA. I get it. But the truth of the matter is that we've got to take our chance at some point here, Nick, to get a little bit of pop. Because I will tell you right now, if you look at the landscape that's Major League Baseball, you'd be hard-pressed to find another outfield that's going to hit less home runs than the Reds this year. Like, is that a crazy take? Reds are going to finish dead last in home runs for their outfield.
Depends how many games Hines and Benson play.
Yeah, exactly. And those guys aren't here. So if you take those guys out of the mix, like if you ran this outfield out there every single day, and when I say this outfield, you can throw Steer in there. You could throw Lux in there if you want. You can throw Espinal in there if you want. You obviously can throw Friedel. You can throw Fraley. And you can throw Hurtubise. And you can throw Blake Dunn. There's no pop out there. None. And you see on a night like tonight, truth be told, sometimes it's just nice to get lucky and run into one and hit it over the fence and you get a run out of it. And that's what happened. That's what happened for the Rangers. And it stinks because it's something we knew heading into the offseason that we probably needed some help with. We really obviously didn't do that. And now we find ourselves in a position where we're already trying to rearrange deck chairs in the outfield to see if we can't find some production. How long do you give Fraley?
I would be a lot more patient with Jake Fraley and, a guy that's one for whatever. I think he's 0.67 batting average if he has some pop. But Jake Fraley has 5 home runs in his last 140 games.
Yeah. Not good.
There's just not the margin for error. Like, if this is a guy that I know can hit me 25 home runs, is an elite defender, and shout out to Jake Fraley, he's played really nice defense, made a great play today, throwing out a runner, made a great play on opening day of the second game, extending, but he's just not providing. There's just not the upside. So it's kind of like, what are you waiting for? And you don't lose Jake Fraley. He has options. He can get sent down to AAA. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't hesitate. I think if it was up to me, I think I'd do it tomorrow. Or I'd do it, after the game tomorrow, send someone else on the road trip, give someone else a shot. 5 home runs in 140 games. Like, what are we waiting for? We're not waiting for some guy to go off and carry the team for a week like a lot of other players could do. I just don't see Jake Fraley doing that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I do think Fraley has shown in his career to be the best hitter of the group that we're talking about. but that's not what we're up against, right? And I've always said that, and I know that really of all guys to give someone the benefit of the doubt, you typically are the one to give somebody the benefit of the doubt more times than not based off what you've done in the past. Jake Fraley doesn't look like himself. There's no even signs of life to make you think that you have the guy that you had in 2023 and even before that in his career when he was a big league hitter. He's showing no signs of that, and it stinks. The closest sign that we got of that, and I almost wonder if it made a difference to make a decision, of how long of a leash he's going to get, is he hit a couple balls hard in Dayton. And I know that sounds crazy, but I'd be hard-pressed to think that the balls that he hit in Dayton weren't the hardest hit balls that he had. And I know someone's going to laugh about this, but those might be the hardest hit balls he's had in a year, maybe a year and a half. And listen, this team's hamstrung right now because you have Spencer Steer, who doesn't have an arm or doesn't have a shoulder, can't throw a ball. So, he is what he is. And you have some inconsistency down in AAA that you're going to have to fight through if you're going to want to, if you're going to promote Rhys Hines or you're going to promote Will Benson, you're going to go through some growing pains at times. But I'll openly just admit that I'd rather at this point, Nick, I'm with you, I'd rather go with a high floor guy and play the lottery, and maybe that's a bad move, but I'd rather go and risk some high-value proposition and go home broke than to continue to go home broke with what feels like not a very high floor. Like, if Jake Fraley's not going to be a good baseline player or consistent player, then give me the guy like Rhys Hines or Will Benson that might hit 12 home runs in 2 weeks, and then they might not hit for 3 weeks. But at least I know that there's a chance in there somewhere that you're going to get some crazy production that might actually just win you 2 or 3 games on their own. We'll see. I don't know how long they're going to keep him, but I do know that the time should be ticking, and it could be ticking very fast. All right. As always, 988, please text and or call day or night, 24/7, anonymous hotline. Anytime that you may feel like you're in need and or a loved one could be in need, or a friend, whoever that may be, please text and or call 988. Mantherapy.org is another place that you can turn to. Jumping into the back half here, I guess from our perspective, on nights like tonight, it makes it very difficult to try to, point out exactly what should have been done better. It is nice to see Carson Spiers continue the trend that is ultimately great starting pitching. And he's done this relatively consistently now, enough to where you start to feel like he could be even in the mix. You could add him into the mix as soon as every single other possible option's back. And then you obviously have the bullpen tonight who did their job as well. Jabot, I'll openly say it, I was very concerned that Jabot was going to give up one single run there in that 9th inning, and it was going to kind of deflate it and make it feel like, oh no, you're not going to be able to find a way to tie this thing or win it in the 9th. He did his job, and the Reds offense just wasn't able to capitalize. So I guess your thoughts on Spiers and the bullpen.
Yeah, Spiers was just outstanding. I mean, he got a few breaks. I think the ballpark did some favors to him tonight, but this guy is so valuable to the Reds. I think a fun thought, I think Spiers might be in the top 15, at least top 20 most valuable players in the Reds organization in 2025. Just because you can send him down to AAA, you can throw him in the bullpen, you can use him in a variety of ways, and he just protects you over a long season. Andrew Abbott, who we'll talk about in a minute, pitched pretty well today in his official rehab start at AAA. Seems like it was planned that they started on the same night to be synced up, but I want to give Carson Spiers another start. I think he deserves a little bit of a run. He doesn't need a big leash or anything, but in terms of Carson Spiers, who I know is built up versus Andrew Abbott, who's a little bit behind, I think I'm continuing to run Spiers out there at least one more time. And I'm just excited for just his ability to help this team. A team like the Dodgers, how do they survive 1 million starting pitching injuries every year? It's because they have pitchers that they can use in a variety of roles, whether they have to stash them in AAA, whether they have to move them to the bullpen. Carson Spiers is a player that I don't think enough Reds fans probably realize how coveted he would be around Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I look at Spiers is I don't think he deserves to lose his job until he earns the right to lose his job. And by that, I mean, if he's going to continue to throw the ball this well, you don't take him. You don't mess with what's not, you don't fix something that's not broken, as they say. And I just go back to, what is it that the others have done and or proven that gives them the automatic benefit of the doubt to shove them in the starting rotation and push somebody out that could be hot or in a comfortable spot. I don't want to mess with that. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Andrew Abbott or Louder. But at the end of the day, like, Andrew Abbott is not taking Spiers' spot, in my opinion, unless Spiers obviously proves that maybe he's, not hot anymore. So I'm going to ride the hot hand while I got it. And until he shows that he can move to the bullpen, I'm just not going to move him.
If Spiers was a higher ranked prospect, I think he would be viewed so different by the vast majority of this fan base. I think that if he would have been one of the Reds' top 10 pitching prospects, he's in the starting rotation last year. He has that couple months where, man, he was really, really good. And then he just kind of runs out of gas. Go up. He's just a young prospect. Let's let him, fix it in the offseason, and we'll give him another run next year. But because he's not a top prospect, I feel like it really gets held against him a lot. Again, I'm not saying he needs a big, long leash because, like we just talked about, there's not a big margin for error with this team. But dare I say, I'm also not completely convinced that Andrew Abbott is at least significantly better than Carson Spiers, and he's certainly not revved up to the point where Carson Spiers is right now.
Exactly. You've seen that all the time in college athletics, especially when you have someone that comes in that's highly talented, and then you watch them long enough and you start to think, are we sure that they're better than this other guy that we have, even though they might not have come in with the same glamour and hope. At some point, you ride with whoever the better player is, and you live with it. That's what good programs do, and that's what good teams are going to do, and I would hope that that's what we do. We shall find out. Jumping into, before we jump into the attendance, I want to jump into the bottom of the ninth. I know people are going to be upset at kind of the situation that happened. Jacob Hurtubise does his job again, by the way, again. He deserves some credit for that, by the way. He deserves some credit for that. He's gotten 2 opportunities in the 9th inning to find a way to get on base, and he's 2 for 2. I know he screwed the pooch on the other one. I get it. You don't have to tell me. I know. He ran into the out, and he caused a double play. So don't come screaming at me about the fact that he did that. But he did his job. And you find yourself in a position where TJ Friedl, listen, he's trying to make a baseball play, and he made a mistake. I don't think it was the wrong play. I don't think it was the wrong play at all. I think bunting for a hit in that spot was not a bad move, because even though as a left-handed hitter, when you go to bunt for a hit, if you, similar to a great shot in basketball, you can defend it as much as you would like to try to defend it. But if TJ Friedl executes that the exact way that he's trying to execute it, it's a base hit. You can't stop it. The guy on first base has to hold on the runner when he's leading off, and if you pull bunt that thing right past the pitcher, it's a hit. Obviously, that's not what happened, and I get it. You're going to be frustrated at the fact that he didn't execute, but I don't get nearly as pissed off about that as I do when I see Hurtubise running into an out or trying to go first or third with nobody out and getting thrown out to third base by 20 feet. Those are mental mistakes. TJ Friedl made a physical mistake. That's going to happen. Errors are going to happen. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I have no problem with the idea behind what he was trying to do. He just didn't execute it. And unfortunately for the Reds, ultimately it's somewhat came back to bite him. Matt McLain hit a ball hard. Maybe if there was a guy at second base, he would have got pitched differently, and you could say he would have gotten a hit otherwise. I don't want to go down that path. But let's just play it out. Matt McLain hit a ball hard to center field. That's obviously 2 outs. And then Elly had a chance to drive in the tying run from second base. So, Friedl was able to read the ball in the dirt, did a good job, got to second base. I get it. There was 2 strikes when that happened. But the Reds had chances all night long to make an impact. and they just didn't execute. And that was a story of the night. So I know some people are going to want to pick on TJ Friedel for that, saying bunting there is stupid or this, that, and the next. To be clear, I don't love sacrifice bunting on purpose. I also, I'm very aware that bunting in general is probably a bad idea, Nick. But on a night like tonight where you struggle to score runs, you need to try to make something happen. I didn't hate the idea, just didn't execute.
He had like 17 bunt hits in 2024 or 2023, whatever it was. I mean, this guy clearly has the ability to that. I don't love him batting leadoff. That's maybe my only issue, is that I would have just liked to have McLain and Elly up there with the runner on base. But if he's in that spot, I have no problem with the bunt at all there. It's not a straight sacrifice bunt. And you would have put some pressure on the Rangers. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Just didn't work today. And
didn't work.
I would try it again tomorrow.
Yeah, and listen, let's be honest too, Nick. If you would have laid down a bunt hit right there, we would have had 2 guys on base with nobody out, with our 2 best hitters coming up to the plate. So
maybe they throw the ball down the line.
Yeah, or they could
run.
Exactly. You lay it down, and to be fair, it was a horrible bunt. It was almost the exact perfect situation for the catcher to get it, and he still almost threw the ball away to center field. He short hopped the second baseman. Or the shortstop at second base, I should say. And the shortstop made a good play by scooping it and keep it in front of him and getting it out. But, you put pressure on the defense. Good things typically happen. It just didn't happen tonight. It was a bad play. Simple as that. All right. Moving forward, the attendance. I obviously had seen some rumblings on this from social perspective. I make nothing out of it. Listen, it's somewhat cold. It's a school night. School's still in session. There are times where I get frustrated by this city and the fan base when we don't fill the ballpark up for big time series late in the year when the weather's perfect and, it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday series, and Thursday night there's 12,000 fans there and it's 78 degrees and sunny and beautiful. I get frustrated by that, yes. I can't get frustrated on April 1st on a Tuesday night. School night. I mean, people aren't going to be going to the ballpark, Nick. I don't know how to say it.
Feels like we do this every single April, right? Sure. Should the Reds maybe have a couple more thousand in attendance? Yeah, probably. But, the Reds have the second smallest market in baseball. The Reds are a very regional team. A lot of the people that come to the games travel a couple hours. Look at the Reds TV market. It's one of the largest TV markets in terms of geography in baseball. So again, look at the Reds run in 2010 through 2013. I tweeted it out earlier, but there was a stretch. This is the fourth year of the best run of Reds baseball in the 21st century. And we had 4 consecutive weekday games. Philadelphia Phillies in town, who remember, they were a pretty good team back then as well. Right. 17, 15, 16, and 14,000. Like, the Reds maybe, ceiling for these games is 20,000 at most. So it is what it is. Judge this team's attendance based on what they do in the summer months and on the weekends. And again, you'll see the same thing in September. Even if the Reds are in a race, we saw it a couple years ago. Yep. There was 14,000 attendance in September, and the Reds were a couple games out of a playoff spot, having the most exciting year that a lot of us have ever seen. Right. So it is what it is. It's a big nothing burger, but we'll continue to probably talk about it in April 2026. God willing, we're still here.
That's right. I'm sure it'll be a topic of conversation right around the same time frame. And the truth of the matter is too, the extended lack of consistent winning or even winning at all is going to catch up to you at some point from an attendance perspective. You can say whatever you want, but that's the truth. They're seeing it in St. Louis, and those how do I say this? What's the right word to use for St. Louis? I would say those ungrateful, very spoiled bastards have the audacity to get on Twitter and say that they aren't committed to winning when I've had to do nothing but watch them be consistently in the postseason for my entire life. And on top of that, The other thing that I had seen was somebody even suggested that winning the division isn't good enough if you're trying to be a winner. I'll tell you this. Maybe I've been in the basement way too long and I've been kicked around way too much, but I'll tell you right now, you won't hear me complaining if the Reds are winning the division on a consistent basis and saying that they're not winning enough. I'll take that to my grave. All right, before we jump into Reds MILB, I'm going to do a couple quick supers here. Ned Flanders says, do you want to give Abbott his rotation spot back when he's ready? Spiers looks pretty confident. We already kind of covered that. I don't know if we want to do that again. But I say, quickly to answer Ned's question, I say no. You say?
He deserves at least one more start.
All right.
Andrew Abbott can still make like 2 more starts in AAA on his rehab assignment. It's not a option, so it doesn't actually count as an option. It also doesn't feel bad if you're in a guy like Andrew Abbott's spot. So until I see Carson Spiers go out there and not perform, I'm going to continue to keep everyone in the same line that they're in. And there's also a chance Abbott ends up having to take the spot for someone else, as we see all the time in starting pitching rotations in the month of April.
All right, got a couple other supers here that I had missed. He says, Sean says, not a surprising result when half your lineup is AAA level talent. Great outing by Spiers, though. Tim, in the same vein, says, listen, I hate to say this, but this lineup's 50% AAA hitters. They have been mediocre. They have been mediocre 4 to 5 games. No offseason moves have shown up again. Listen, they scored 14 runs. Sean and Tim, I get the sentiment. They scored 14 runs the night before. I'm not suggesting for a second that being shut out, losing 1-0 is acceptable. It's the type of thing, though, that when we look back at the run differential at the end of the year, I always make fun of Nick for this type of stuff. It's like, we've got to find a way to win these games that are close, because at the end of the season, that's what's going to matter. Not whether you win 13-0 or 14-3 or 16-1. It doesn't matter. We all know that doesn't matter. So we'll ultimately see. All right, jumping down. Rolf says, Fraley would kill any local baseball league around. He looks like a pro, but has anyone seen him without his bandana on? Does he have hair? Is this a Brett Michaels situation? That's over my head. I'm not very cultured, so I'm guessing Brett Michaels, and this is showing my absolute cluelessness to the world. Brett Michaels, the wrestler, I believe. He wore a bandana. Did he not have hair? Do you know any of this?
I feel like he had hair.
Okay.
I'm not
like
a wrestling
Brett Michaels
guy.
did have hair.
Not a wrestling guy.
Yeah, me neither.
Sorry to those.
No disrespect to
those that I offended,
like
because I know there's.
Yeah, there's. I was gonna legitimately crack a joke about wrestling, and then I was like, I'm not gonna do that, because honestly, I don't get it. But there's people that, don't get what things that I like. So I'm not here to trash on anybody's love for wrestling. The pitching talent, it is kind of goofy though. The pitching talent in this organization has never been better. Today is one game. The pitchers at AAA, 20 MLB teams would trade for their pitchers. Burns, Lauder, Petty, Abbott, Maxwell, insane depth. So, yeah. I mean, the Reds are fine. We've got to win a series. Can we win a series?
I hope so.
You don't think the Reds are fine? Did you think that was a hot take? You gave me some crazy look for saying the Reds are fine.
No, I do agree with you that the Reds are fine.
As I say, because if we've lost we've lost everything.
I do not feel any different about the Reds than I did 24 hours ago.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, let's do this. Reds MILB, and then we have some more news after that.
All right, we're in action. We'll be having full slates here coming up soon, but AAA Louisville faces didn't show up. How about that?
Yeah, they did.
Sorry. Oh, they did show up. They didn't show up on my end, but they're on the
They
thing.
showed up. They showed up.
All right. They're leading Omaha 3-2. Andrew Abbott, as mentioned earlier in the program, made his first rehab start. Gave up a second run late, so his final line 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. I'll look a little closer at it and give you a little bit more details on that in the podcast version tomorrow. But Will Benson 1 for 3. Noelvi Marte 2 for 3. I think I love seeing Trace's 2 stolen bases. Just because, it makes me feel like he's taking it seriously down there. If he's out there, stealing some bags. Marte currently hitting 429, 1100 OPS. Vincent hitting 412, 1000 OPS. Hines hitting 364, 1309 OPS despite the 0 for 3 3K night this evening. But again, I'll give you a little more details in the podcast tomorrow. I did see some questions about the roster, and I wish I would have had more time today to really dive through the rosters because the Reds affiliates all announced their rosters. I would have loved to have seen Sammy Stafora be promoted, but look, it is what it is. He's going to start in Daytona again. He's repeating Duno is staying in Daytona, so not a whole lot of movement there. One of the interesting moves was Ricardo Cabrera is starting the year with the Dragons, so he does get the bump up. Some repeaters there, though. Leo Balcazar, Carlos Jorge are also, and Yerlin Confidant also starting with the Dragons. But yeah, then at AA, who do we have there? We have Sal Stewart, Jay Allen will both start there. So that'll be kind of exciting. Hector Rodriguez also getting to start at AA. But I'll dig through that.
Cam Collier not starting at AA?
Well, he's on the IL, so I don't know if they officially listed him yet or not.
Okay. Per my sources, I think he'll start in AA.
I would think so. It feels like they want to keep him and Cam, him and Sal and Hector Rodriguez, probably all together.
And by my sources, I mean the man himself said he'd start there. So I'm guessing that's where he's going to start. We'll see. I don't want to say that for sure, but just saying.
But I'll dive through the Edwin Arroyo also at AA, obviously because he's not on the AAA roster. Right. But I'll dive through that a little bit more. I'll kind of give you a couple more thoughts on the podcast tomorrow.
All right.
When I don't have an hour and 15-minute game.
Let's clear something up real quick. I just want to say my apologies to Bret Hart. He is the wrestler. Bret Michaels, I am told by Craig Sandlin that he was the lead singer in the band Poison. Isn't Bret Michaels?
Every Rose.
Every rose has its thorn.
I thought he did double duty. I thought maybe he was a wrestler and a singer.
You never know. That's Bret Michaels, right? Every Rose? Yeah. Anyway, he says that he had a show on VH1, I guess. No free ads. Always had a bandana on, sometimes cowboy hat, which is hiding long hair that many think is fake. Okay, so he's suggesting that Jake Fraley might be wearing like some kind of hairpiece or something underneath their bandana. I don't know. Doesn't seem like he would need to do that, so I don't think he is. Anyway, that's the. Also want to say I need to clear something up. I got a lot of people hate comments. My apologies that Aaron Judge doesn't use the torpedo bat. I've been told 100 times today that Aaron Judge doesn't use the torpedo bat. So shout out to Aaron Judge. He doesn't use the torpedo bat.
It was great for interactions though with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you want me to come up with some kind of small lie out in every post just so people can correct me all day long, love it. Sure. Maybe it'll help our algorithms even more. Nick's always going to find a way to get people to have some fun on our behalf. So that's fair. All right. Who, what, when, where, and why? This is a big game. I got a feeling this is a big game.
Yeah, big game, and you got Hunter Green on the mound. The Reds obviously struggled in rubber matches over the last couple years. What is it, 17 of 21 or something they've lost? Something ridiculous. But yeah, Hunter Green, just love where Hunter's at right now. Excited to see him pitch in this game. And the Reds are going to have a good challenge against Jack Leiter, the number 2 overall pick out of Vanderbilt in 2021. Leiter in his season debut against the Red Sox went 5 innings, just 5 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. Leiter throws a 4-seamer, sinker, changeup, slider, and curveball. And his fastball tops out, sometimes up almost 98 miles an hour. So big game, son of Al Leiter. So can we get our 1999 revenge here on April 2nd, 2025?
I'll tell you this, couple coaches' sons that have pitched in the series, both from Vanderbilt. Hopefully, Leiter can match Rocker in the same way that he performed. That's what I'm looking forward to. We need to give Hunter Green a win. I know that stat means nothing. I know that really you shouldn't care about whether or not a pitcher has so many wins over the course of a year. But damn, it feels like we just burn him every single year with this. He goes out, he throws the ball well, we blow it in the end. I would love to turn that tide. By the way, did you look? And I don't want to get too far down the beaten path, and this is why we do have pregame shows, which we'll talk about that in just a second. Did you look down at the projected rotation for the Milwaukee Brewers?
They hadn't announced anyone other than Nestor Laurent, right?
That's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of TBDs.
Yeah, that's the that's the Brewers special right there.
Yeah.
Fangraphs has Nestor Cortez, Tyler Alexander, Elvin Rodriguez, and Chad Patrick lined up. I believe it was Tyler Alexander, the cat that was on the Tigers. Yes, he is. That struck out like 7 batters in a row during the COVID season. Yeah, it's that guy. Just this guy was a nobody, came out of nowhere and set some sort of record of consecutive strikeouts. Struck out 7 Reds batters in a row.
Yeah.
We're just sitting there with nothing to do, watching this guy just mow down our highest payroll roster and of our lifetime.
Well, that happens. And then we had to watch that highest payroll roster of all time.
Not Nestor Laurent. I'm not on my game. Not Nestor Laurent.
Anyway. What?
Who am I thinking
I don't know, Nick. You're asking me to come up with something.
The guy they traded
I
from
can't remember what I did yesterday. I don't even know who Brett Michaels is.
Nestor Cortez.
Nestor Cortez, that guy that's the weird dude from the Yankees.
Yeah, he got absolutely shelled by the Yankees his first part. Would he get 5 home runs in that game?
I don't know. Also, solid mustache though, if I remember right.
ERA of 36, so that can only go down.
Yeah, who knows? All right, Carlton Van Hoy said, "Old school pitching on both sides. Tip the cap and move on. We have faced 2 great starters out of 5. Not going to be the norm. Let's hope not."
It's a good point. We faced some really good pitching here early in the year. Even the guy that the Reds hit yesterday, Kumar Rocker, is one of the more talented pitchers probably in the sport. But,
right.
Logan Webb, Justin Verlander, I'm struggling, Robbie Ray, Kumar Rocker, Nathan Eovaldi, and Jack Leiter. That's not an easy first 6 games of the season. So I'm a little interested to see what the Reds get when they kind of get into more of the 3s and the 4 starting pitchers and how this offense looks against that.
All right, we got another pregame show on your hands tomorrow, Nick. I'll let you take it away.
We got a graphic. The Chatterbox Reds pregame show live every weeknight. It's actually not live tomorrow though, so I probably shouldn't have put this on here. But still have Off the Bench from 10 a.m. to noon. That'll be your pregame show. But they will be back on Thursday night. And it will be the debut of our last 2 fellas. So excited for that. Shout out to those guys. They've been working hard. And shout out to you, our viewers. I didn't get to watch a second today because at soccer practice, we have soccer 4 days a week now in the Kirby household, and swim. So we were grinding, but I checked YouTube and there was 130 people watching the Chatterbox Reds pregame show. That made me very happy because I know those guys have put a lot of hard work into that. And thank you to you, the viewers.
That's right. Well, our chat is elite. A lot of loyal people that are in here, and it's continuing to grow. The OG chat is alive and well. There's nothing that makes this show more enjoyable. There's a lot of frustrating nights like tonight. Obviously, you just if we didn't do this show, tonight's one of those nights, honestly, where I just turn the TV off and I probably go and try to just distract myself for a couple hours and then just go to bed, wake up the next day and just try to act like it never happened. But instead, we come down here and we talk about it. And I know this sounds kind of funny and goofy, but it almost feels like at times This is like therapy or something. Like, it's just like, you don't hold it in. Don't suppress your feelings. Let's go and let's let it all out. Let's talk about it. Let's try to feel better about it, and we'll move on. I wouldn't say that I feel great about it because the Reds obviously lost, but I feel better about the fact that, we talked ourselves through it. It's just as we always say. It's one game. We need to find a way to win more. Hopefully tomorrow is going to be the case. All right. So making sure I don't miss any supers. Thank you to the chat. Looks like everybody's sitting here making fun of me now because I didn't know who any of these people were. Brett Michaels, Bret Hart. I definitely didn't think it was Hulk Hogan, though. That was disrespectful. I don't know who said that, but I didn't think it was Hulk Hogan. Okay. He's a legend. All right. Until next time, we appreciate you. No fun. Can't dunk basketballs and can't sway over Nicolas Cage pillows, but what we can do is be back better than ever tomorrow. Take care, everybody.